Bartail has been one of the persons who's watched all the shows. I talk to him on a regular basis in the EverQuest Next IRC channel.
What we saw with, Kunark for EQ2, you did those 400 quests, you did all the content. At the end of it, the world wasn't changed.
Yeah, I'm Phantom X. I do social media and write articles for EQ Nexus.
For the Fall of Bastion, there was a very definite, okay, this is where your story is going to fit into the world.
Listen, fluffy looking bear, thank you. Listen, I went and I killed a dragon, and then 2 drops of whiskey hit my face, and I willed this manly beard into cow was raising, yes! Fluffy looking bear, thank you. Listen, I went and I killed a dragon, and then 2 drops of whiskey hit my face.
Hello and welcome. This is EverCast, episode number 45, When Our Powers Combine. Emphasis on the combine there. This is EverCast. We are a Landmark and EverQuest Next podcast. Connecting gamers with the game they play. I am one of the hosts, Tamlin. With me are our normal crew of hosts. We got what? Who we got with us here today?
Ladies first.
Newbies first.
Oh, snap.
That would be me. Hi, I'm Lucy. That's it. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kai.
I'm the guy that sits here and drinks. My name's Platt. How's it going?
And that's the dog that cries.
I feel bad for everyone that's like first tuning in. They're like, "Oh, he's drunk every time." Not every time. I've personally drinking tea and coffee on the show as well, depending on today's beer. That's what you're gonna get. Let's go to the news.
Well, thank you all for joining us for this episode of EverCast. If you are following us on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or whatever it is, if you could give us a favorite, a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is, we would really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. And as Flat has said, rolling on to the EverCast news. We have a little bit of EverCast news this week. The big thing being is that next Sunday, we will not have a show. It is the week of this weekend of the Super Bowl. We would be basically going up against the Super Bowl ends. We're just not going to do that. Game of Thrones, yes. The Super Bowl, no. So we probably will be all at some part. Well, no, I'll just be sitting at my house watching the Seahawks win again.
I was going to say, really, because the Seahawks are playing.
I was gonna say, had nothing to do with the Seahawks being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, nothing at all. So other EverCast news is we try to talk about other MMOs when we think that they're important and they're worth checking out for one reason or another. At PAX South this weekend, Guild Wars 2 by Arena.net came out and showed their new expansion, which is called The Heart of Thrones. They have not released. Oh, right. Heart of Thorns. What did I say? Thrones. Damn that! Wow. Game of Thrones. Damn it! Game of Thrones. Stupid. Anyway, they haven't really announced when it's going to be out. You assume that within the next couple of months they'll be doing beta testing, and then you'll see it later this year. The important reason that you might want to check it out is that Dave Mark, who was part of the Storybricks contract early on, about a year and a half ago, he was working on the AI in EverQuest Next. He was let go, or his job ended, whatever the case may be. Almost immediately, he was hired on as a contractor to work on Guild Wars 2. So there's a direct connection there that it might be worth checking out, because we know that he's been working on the AI in Guild Wars 2. Currently, Guild Wars 2 is on sale. The current edition of Guild Wars 2 is on sale for like $10 I think that lasts for the rest of the day because they said that it was a weekend sale. And for $10 for Guild Wars 2 is a pretty good price for it if you don't have it already. Last bit of ECast news. Okay. Dave Jordson, he likes tweeting out little, what would we call them? Little trolling comments, little snippets, little teases, or whatever.
Trolls.
One of the things that he tweeted out was in a response to someone asking for smaller props to be able to put into their claims. His response was, you'll be able to make them yourself in a month or two. More on that later. And then he replied a comment later with, it's a poorly kept secret. We're working to make your own props. I mean, you can read into that a whole bunch of ways, but I think that the obvious one, the one that makes the most sense, is that pretty soon we'll be able to upload props into the player studio, and people will be able to buy them off of the Station Cash store that's in the game already. I mean, they already have it for EverQuest 2 and PlanetSide 2, and they already have the templates that you can buy using the voxel engines already in there. All they have to do is get the approval process for people to import from other programs outside of the game engine. Yeah, so that was it for ECast News, unless somebody else has something they want to throw out there.
Yes, I would like to apologize in advance for my feisty, upset, rah dogs, because they would be especially noisy this evening. That is all.
I had nothing. H1Z1. That's a thing. It's been still going. There's some good. I have to say, I will tip my hat to SOE because H1Z1. There are bugs, but they're not where I'm like, I logging out and saying F this game sort of bugs. The game is a lot of fun, and way to go SOE. I think you did a good job, and I'd like to see where it goes with H1Z1. So, yay! Much excite. It makes me very much hopeful for EverQuest next.
Speaking of, we were talking about AI and different games. What's the zombie AI like in H1Z1? Do you like it? Are they smart? Do they make intelligent choices? Like how do they need to be smarter? Do they look like you're just average, generic MMO mob that follows you and runs into walls and that sort of thing? Because I heard there was a complaint earlier that like a waist-high wall was their kryptonite because you could shoot over the top of it and they couldn't figure out how to get over it.
A little bit, but it's kind of one of those things where it's early access, so you forgive it because when it does happen, it's like, oh well, it'll get fixed. Like you can see where they're tuning it, and they're slow. I think they're slowly ramping up the zombies because even Smeta said on Twitter that they have not been unleashed to their full rage mode yet. It's kind of like a Dragon Ball Z episode where it takes about half the season for someone to go like before
Power level reaches 9,000.
yeah, where it's over 9,000, and so we started playing on a hardcore server. I'm not going to say the name because we don't want to get killed. That's a whole other game. That's more of a people issue than it is an SOE game issue. So we're playing a hardcore server and there's so many zombies. There are tons of zombies. They're chasing deer, they're chasing bears, they will eat like anything that moves and is mammal, they will eat it. They will try to eat it and attack it. They will eat us, they will try to attack us. They keep adding more stuff in, and it's cool just to see it all happen. Zombies will try to find their way in. Like we've had a few glitches where they glitch into the house, but they will hoard. Like we were all near a house, and they knew we were chopping down trees. They could hear the noise. They started hoarding towards us. They were coming from the back of the hill. There was one time where we ran out of arrows. All we had were melee weapons. We were up on a platform we built, and there was about 15, 16 zombies out in the little backyard area, and we have no way of killing them. Like, we were just trying to, like, hit them at the stairwell and stuff like that. We're like, this is not going well. Sunglare in chat was trying to, like, out in the woods, trying to make noise on proximity chat to try to lure them away from Zube and the rest of it, and Krona and I. It was not fun. It was fun. It was fun, but it wasn't. It was like, this is how you die. This is exactly
right,
how
because
you
if
die.
you stay up there too long, you basically run
You're
out
stuck.
of food. You run out of food
you're
and water.
gonna get hungry. Yep. And
That's
there were
cool.
a lot of it was so bad. It was so bad. But it was so much fun. So much fun. That's something to go check out. If you have it, go play on the hardcore server. It's a lot of fun.
We watched World Day Z last
World
night.
War Z last night.
World Wars. I was sorry. The zombie movie with the hot guy and the scary zombies. Like, zombies don't scare me, but they were really creepy. And he wasn't hot until I got older. Sorry. I'm gonna shut up now.
Zombies.
All right, that's it for the ECast news. We don't, because we got a bomb dropped on us this week during the workshop show. Like, at first I was like, oh great, it's just another workshop show. Maybe we'll get a new race and maybe we'll get a new bit of lore. But oh my goodness, they opened up the floodgate of information a little bit, and they released just a torrent of information. Where do we start with that? Kinos. We have the concept drawing of Kinos. We know the history of Kinos a little bit. We understand that it was like an old fortress before before the fall of Bastion, before the Combine races left to go to Kunark. They came, then the Combine races come back. They're like, okay, well, we can't go back to Bastion because there's Evil Dead people there. So they went back and rebuilt on top of Kinos. But Platus, you had a look on your face.
Sorry, I was typing something.
Oh, okay. You had a look like I said something wrong.
No. Continue. Don't mind me.
So, what did you think? Did you watch the workshop show all the way through? Or more appropriately, how many times did you watch it?
3.
I didn't watch
Not on
that.
the same day, but 3. I watched it 3 times.
I lost count after I wanted to kill my husband because I think it was like 6 times, and then it was rewind and play it again, rewind and play it again, and rewind and play it. He would do that with certain sections to the point where I was sitting on the couch knitting. Oh God, I started knitting. Knitting and listening, and I could start reciting what they were saying. I wanted to kill him. Yeah. So what? I go 5, 6 times.
I don't know. I wasn't keeping track. I just know
it
was annoying to you. So the big controversy, right, is that what races are in the Combine and how many of those races are going to be playable. This seems to be the big issue. And Jeffrey Butler, when someone brought it up on Twitter, he replied back is use your instinct as to what races are in the Combine. And so here we had a little bit of a consensus before the show, and here's what we've got. We've got elf, dwarf, human, because duh, they're going to be in the game. We know the dwarf is going to be in the game as part of the Combine race. We know that the elves are because, hello, they started the Combine pretty much. They led the fleeing off. I've never an EverQuest MMO without humans as a playable race just seems too far fetched. So there's 3. Then they've mentioned that. Well, we've seen the in the workshop, Karen and Ogre. So now we're up to 5. Gnomes and halflings. Those are the ones that are debated, even though there's evidence for both. And I've got this whole list of all of these different the sources where it cites them talking about gnomes or talking about halflings. But there's only 8 playable races, and we know that Dark Elves and Ixar are going to be playable races, or aren't they? Are they going to backtrack on what they had said earlier? Because I can also go and find audio on their YouTube videos where they've said that Ixar and Dark Elves are going to be playable races. But 8 playable races and 9 possible player races, one of them is going to get left out. And we're not sure. Gnomes, halflings, what say you guys?
I need to unmute my mic. I say I am a sad panda because I don't care about either of those. And so you can go to a fiery pit of flaming you suck because they're not giving me what I want. And I'm going to pout like a little spoiled princess.
Fae. Because they don't have Fae.
But
Damn straight.
But you're getting dark elves, and you wanted to be a pretty dark elf lady.
It's true.
But Faye.
But Faye.
But I want Faye too, and I'm sad. But I knew that they weren't going to be a playable race at the beginning.
Bastards.
I knew that they weren't. Yeah.
Right. Because I remember back on their roundtable discussions from like a year or so ago when they were talking about that they did their poll and the Fae won the poll. Like, what would your favorite small race be? And their response to that was something along the lines of that. We are also doing these polls to see which races we should be the first ones that we add in through an expansion later on. And it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Don't launch with Fae, but Fae will come along in some sort of future expansion. And it totally makes sense that way.
It do. It's the same like Froglocks. Like, we wouldn't see Froglocks right away. I would expect to see Froglocks.
And there's
the gods.
Right. And
Froglocks?
They're so creepy with their giant mouths that open all the way when they talk.
They're frogs!
It's so creepy.
And that's another race that they're...
Me too.
The funny thing
Adorable.
about the Rotanga is that, they're not mentioned as a combine race at all. They're not talked about at all in any of the novels that we've seen so far, but neither are the Fae, as far as I know. I could be mistaken. I know that the Erudites are, because people have said, if you go to this page and read this passage, it mentions Erudite. But we don't see that there's no mention of them as being part of the combine races, so we don't think that they're going to be starting as a playable race. Simply because we're amongst the EverCast, and you're free to disagree, that, amongst the EverCast crew, we're pretty much set that it's going to be 6 combine races and 2 races that have got added on, which are the Ixar and the Dark Elves, in 8 total. And we know pretty good that what those 5 are going to be, and then it's like gnomes or halflings.
Personally, I think, I'm going to just put my opinion out there. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to say it. I think it's going to be halflings. I think that they are going to reserve gnomes and have gnomes have their own little clockwork steampunky type city, and they're not going to let you play them at start.
I completely agree with that, and yeah.
Now, okay, so it's coming as sort of an EverQuest noob, because as I've mentioned countless times now, I came from Vanguard. They shut it down. Now I'm looking forward to EverQuest next. But are the halflings in EverQuest history in the first 2 franchises, are they like the hobbits from the original Lord of the Rings type series, or are they a little bit different? Because here's what I'm thinking: what if the halflings left and said, "Peace, we don't want any war with the dragons." They get to Kunark, where the Combine reestablishes itself as a power, and then the races are like, "Okay, let's go back to where we came from." And the halflings are like, "Why? We've got bread in the oven, we've got a field full of vegetables, we've got weed in our pipe."
What?
But bro, if we go back, we can have the 3rd breakfast. Oh shit, let's load up. Load up.
I'm just saying that in my mind, I could see that the halflings, the hobbits, being like, "No, we're happy where we're at. There's no reason to go back." And
that's when they're like, "Fuck off, you pointy-eared geeks."
See, the thing is I know that I have a soft spot in my heart for gnomes, but I'm probably going to be playing a human in EverQuest next.
I play one of those in real life. Sorry.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm kind of a halfling in real life. I'm gonna play something different.
My feet used to be hairier.
Oh God.
That's true. I am very bald for a halfling. If we want to talk about hairy feet, What? Why are we talking about this?
What just happened to EverCast?
How did we digress to Harry's
What's
feet?
going on?
Please.
You're talking about
He
being a
started
halfling.
it.
No, Kai started it by mentioning that she was one in real life.
Now
I
we're
said
gonna
I
the
play a
blame game.
human. I
Oh,
said I
you
play a
did.
human. I play a freaking. I am throwing something at him. He thought I said I played a halfling in real life. You ass. I'm not that short.
I don't know. I need these
Pretty
people.
sure.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. I'll just be right here. If you guys need me in chat, I'll be right here.
I did get something thrown. Anyway, so the races of the combine, right? If you go to the YouTube video at about time mark 2030, it says other races such as dwarves, gnomes, and humans. But if you go to the YouTube video from the latest workshop show at 10:15, he talks about the races that make up the combine, and he doesn't include gnomes, but at that time he includes halflings. So if you are curious about where we're drawing this information from, that's where we're getting from. I've got 3 other sources that I'm going to throw out there for gnomes being in the combine. And I think that that's one of the important things that I want to mention is that, like, I think that there are going to be 7 races in the combine that we can identify, but I don't think all 7 of them are going to be playable races at the start. Archmage Part 1, page 49, the dwarves join first, then the gnomes. So if you look at the combine, the first 3 races are elf, dwarf, and then gnome. Page 17, there is an I doubt my death would gain the dragon's flesh, the gnome leader said. And then the Fall of Bastion, page 18, going into 19, 2 ogres towered above the throng, and he caught a glimpse of dwarves, Karens, and even a gnome. So we've got more races in the combine than we have playable race slots. I wanted to give credit. We got an email from Snowman Wilkie. He sent us an email, and he gave us 3 of those sources from the email. I just want to throw out a shout out to him and say thank you. And again, throw it out that if you have other comments about what we're talking about, feel free to email it to us. Like I said, we will read it. What was that, Flatus? You're doing that exasperated laugh.
I said I'll be here in chat if you need me. I'll be here in chat. Zubay in chat. Flatus looks like a serial killer.
I saw that.
The fart, like, thanks, buddy. I love my friends.
Which ones?
I don't know yet.
Am
The
I
ones in my head. The ones that talk to me in my head.
Am I one of them?
All the voices in my head. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh, no, I noticed there was a pause there. You had to think about it.
No, not at all.
What was our topic again?
Hairy feet.
The combine and the combine races. Okay, Lucy, you and I were talking before the show started. Humans, right? There are humans that are in the combine, but in other things that we've read online, we know that there were humans that remained behind that didn't leave with the combine, because we know that there is the city of Halas that is going to be populated by Halasian humans, and they're going to be different than the Kinos humans.
Right.
As I understand it, like the Halas humans from other EverQuest franchises were the barbarian races. And there was tweets going out from Steve Denuser, I think it was, that the Halasian humans are going to have a distrust or not an openness towards magic or book magic. And
scholarly magic, whatever that means.
So, and then we don't even know about like Freeport, or Freeport's going to be another type of humans. But the consensus that we kind of got was that all of the e-novels and the Combine itself is very elf-centric. And I don't think that that's necessarily how the other races that stayed behind view it. because the elves were like I joked about, like the elves were like, you must flee with us and flee from the dragons or you will become extinct. And the races that stayed behind were like, yeah, whatever, pointy ears, see ya. Because the Combine leaves, the Combine comes back, and there is a city of Freeport and there's a city of Lost, and it's populated by humans, and they're like, yeah, we didn't need you. You were your own worst enemy. When you left, our problems went away. That's what it feels like, is that the dragons weren't raging a war on all intelligent life on that continent. They were waging a war on the elves, and the elves created this problem, and they created the solution, the Combine, but as soon as the elves left, the dragons were like, okay, whatever, I'll leave you nomadic humans alone.
I want to know how the other races that left behind somehow avoided the dragon's wrath. Like, even if they didn't, like, you know, poke them with a stick and piss them off like the elves did, they had a giant army. Like, there's no way that they wouldn't have plowed through whatever city that they came across to get to the elves. So how did they stay out of it? What happened to them? What happened to the dragon army after the fall of Bastion? Like, I want to know all these things. And then I think if I know these things, it'll be easier to say, okay, well, this is how we're going to have different humans.
Yeah, and I think that's the big mystery, is that the dragons raised this huge army to take on the Dal Empire and basically push the elves off in an entire continent. But what happened to that army and that, or at least that whatever they built up at that period of time, you know, what happened to it after they left? Did the dragons feel like, okay, nap time, and it's been a couple centuries and they've all been asleep this whole time? Because, you know, what happened?
That's a very good question.
I also want to know what the quote-unquote compelling reasons were for the Combine races to return to Antonica. Like, okay, all we know are compelling reasons. What does that mean? What does it mean?
It means they're trolls.
No, we got that. So in the workshop show, they talked about this new guy, Vanagos. And very, very particular, they would not mention his last name. And I think that they wouldn't let us know his last name because that would give us a little insight into his
lineage.
Well, his lineage, definitely. But what his inspiration is, what he's trying to accomplish. If you knew his family, you would probably know. But they hinted, because the Vanagos and his family, quote, are looking for opportunities. Opportunities for what? If he was...
They also said something about, like, his family's, like, destiny. And what does that mean?
Right. And so the three names that immediately popped into my head, and I looked at each of those possibilities and what it would mean to Nora if each of these, if this Vanagos was part of this family. Okay, the obvious one, Thex, is the son of the Thex that wants to reclaim his ancestral homeland because his family is the family that used to be the Emperor's family, right? That's the obvious one. Right? Karamor Thex, wasn't he the son of the prince? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next name is the family name V, as in Fiona V, like Furiona. Maybe a dad, an uncle, a brother, or something like that, as just part of this Age of Heroes, as they called it, that they're leading the charge back into Antonica for whatever reason, because they're glory or whatever. But there's a family connection there that connects all of the EverQuest names together with that one character. And then the third one is I forget, Corlin Lanagos?
Corlin Larkos. Remember the law offices of Corlin Larkos.
She watched it 6 times.
Right, and so
did he.
So anyway, maybe this is an ancestor from that particular family of elves and magic power. Blah blah blah. I don't know, really, whatever. It's just something that I of the elves that I really know from the EverQuest Next fiction. Those are the 3 names that popped out as possible, possible families that this guy Vanagos could have belonged to. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was Googling something because I couldn't remember what race Antonia Bale was.
Human, right?
It doesn't. I can't find that on the Wikia. It doesn't say her race.
I think she's human.
I think she's human too.
Because, you know, in EQ2, I've seen her give her little speech, and my character goes up next to her and try to get her number, but she never gives it.
Yeah, no pointy ears, so yeah, human. Okay. I was just wondering if maybe she could have been, like, Bale could have been the last name, but no. That's all. Sorry.
But yeah, I think that's definitely something to look at that they told us in the workshop show, that there's this, the Combine left and the Combine decided to come back. The Combine decided to come back because they had, quote, compelling reasons. And we don't know what happened to the Dragon Army that was in Antonica when they left.
Do you know what those, quote, compelling reasons are?
Money?
We haven't decided yet, so we're not going to tell you.
I think they've got at least that much figured out.
There has to be a reason.
Well, and actually, hold on. I think that they do. They have the bullet points for the fiction already established because and Diggs in channel. I think that Diggs is in channel. He pointed this out to me the other day. That was a post made to the EverQuest Next forums, I think it was, by Morgard, which Steve the Newser, that said that they changed their. It used to be that the Combine races were fleeing from Kunark back to Antonica because they were losing a war with the Ixar for whatever reason. But they thought that made the Combine races look too weak because it was basically lost the war here, and they didn't like that. What they wanted to do was change the starting ground of the Combine so that they were arriving back to Antonica in a position of strength. And so I think that, when you're like, okay, we need to write the story and we need them to come back to Antonica in a position of strength, you still have to have the reason for them to come back. And they've got to have gotten like, well, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. Okay, that one right there. That's the reason they came back. I'm almost sure they've got it figured out.
Sure, it's not money.
It could be. It could be money.
I don't know. To me, it seems like if you left your homeland after a long time, like you would figure there'd be a need or want to go back. Like after a while, like maybe you grow in numbers. I think I would take it that the Combine races were outnumbered by the dragons at the time they were leaving, right? Like based on what I read in the books, they were.
Yeah, they were horribly outnumbered, I think.
They were horribly out. Yeah, let's say if they're like, years go by, people start getting together, Jimmy has little Jimmy and has little Sally. Like the numbers grow, repopulation happens, and they're all like, "Listen, we're plenty strong. Let's head back. Let's head back home. Let's reclaim our land."
It is worth noting that the first place they went to go back to was Bastion, which was a fortress, and then the place that they actually ended up establishing themselves on was Kinos, which was an old fortress with lots of stone around it so that they could build. And they reinforced this in the workshop show multiple times. It was a stone city with stone walls,
with some stone, and also some stone.
Yeah.
Stone?
So they were
Sorry.
They were probably preparing for a fight when they first arrived. That was one of the things that they were thinking, is that we're going to have to defend ourselves against the fight. So, like economy, yeah, that's nice. Build some trading forts, trade with the natives, whatever. But build that fort.
To me, I don't know. Stone.
I need to stop leaving my mic muted. Am I allowed to sort of change topics as long as I keep it on city and sin races?
Sure.
Why not? We talked about hairy feet.
I would like to point out for that section of EverCast, Gladys is nowhere involved.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not very good with my EQ and EQ2 lore. But haven't I'm sorry, I can hear myself in my headphones. Hasn't Freeport and Quanos always been like opposing cities? They don't get along?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're thinking about. Like, there are humans that are going to be on Antonica when the Combine races get back, and that's why I think it's a very elf-centric point of view that you had to join the Combine in order to survive. It was like, no, the elves had to start the Combine and leave, or else they would die. But the other races, not so much.
I know it's Kinos.
Freeport and Halas were cities that have been established without input or influence from the Combine races, as far as I know.
I love that somebody is in chat correcting my pronunciation. It makes me laugh. Kinos. I know.
You just, that's a rant for a different day.
That's a rant for him for a different day. Oh, Tanlin gets angry. Yeah, I'm curious because races that I always thought we've seen as enemies are now suddenly part of a Combine.
Yep.
And if we're definitely going to have Kinos and Freeport, and we're shoving races that historically haven't gotten along all together into Kinos, who are we putting in Freeport? And does that suddenly make the people of Freeport the enemies of the people in Kinos?
I will find a link to some lore that is out there on the origins of Freeport from Morgar, because Morgar is posted on the forums about Freeport. You just have to. That's why, like, if you follow my Twitter, I tweeted out like a day or two ago.
I don't follow your Twitter.
That way. But
I live with you. I don't follow your Twitter.
I tweeted out that like I need some sort of notification every time Morgar posts on the EQ Next official forums. I want notification that he's posted something, so it's a reminder to go and look because. And there is a system, but you have to be logged in to see it. And that was one of my first mistakes. I wasn't logged in when I was looking for it. But once you're logged in, you can like follow that person or subscribe to that person. I forgot their exact terminology. But seriously, he's been letting out with little bits of information over there, as well as like in the e-novels and in the YouTube, workshop show type stuff that he does. And those are like you can gain a lot of knowledge about how the NORAF is going to look in EverQuest Next from those places. But again, you have to know where to look and you have to know that it's out there. And so I'm going to go look for it. If you guys can keep yourselves occupied for a few minutes.
Of course. I said that so quick. As soon as he answered, I was like, yes, I can. Why he goes and looks for that. To answer Kyla's question, Freeport in EQ2, at least EQ2, I know that much. It was based on not only what race you were, but also your class. You could be a neutral race and be an evil class, and then Freeport would be like if you were neutral. I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I'll go with the Arakan because they're new and I like them. The Arakan are a neutral race, and if I went Necromancer would be a Freeport where I would go for my city because that is angry. It's spiky.
I was saying it's Freeport, the angry city.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Freeport.
Yeah. And then all the evil races would go there too. But then there's also quests where you can go and then come over and change your what's the word I'm looking for?
Faction?
Faction, yeah, you can change your faction. There's a faction change that you can do, and then you can become a citizen of Kinos through a quest chain.
Calling it a quest chain is putting it extremely lightly when it was first implemented.
Go on. I like it when you're angry.
I found it.
Okay, so I had a Ratanga And I hated Freeport because it was the first time I had started playing. And, well, I mean, I had played a little bit, and then I came back, and then I switched from Kinos to a Freeport race. So I had a little Ratonga. She's so cute. She has big ears. No piercings everywhere. It's so
God.
cute. Anyway, so she was white. It doesn't matter for the story. But I hated navigating around Freeport. So I was like, screw this. I'm betraying to Kinos. And it took so long. It took like a month, and I was dedicated to it. Like, I mean, I was playing hours. Okay, maybe we shouldn't talk about how much I played, but I was playing a lot, and it took a really long time once you had gone through the starting quest and like established yourself in a city to work it so that you could get to neutral and then gain the factions with Kinos to get into their city without the guards hacking your face off as soon as you walked in. It was awful. Awful. That's my rant.
That's my rant. It is over.
I just
And I'm
dislike.
spent.
I dislike that they're making the Dark Elves frou-frou, happy, shiny people races.
You don't have to be.
No.
Everyone kind of starts off neutral, though. Like, it's your choice to become evil.
See, that's
It's
the thing.
it's the choice matters in this game.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I've been thinking about is that, like, people already have said, like, they don't want to be part of the Combine when they first log into the game, even though the game is, like, there's going to be one starting zone and it's going to be near Kinos or in Kinos, one of those two. I'm sure that we'll learn more about that as time goes on, but a lot of people are being like, they don't want anything to do with that Combine, and, like, on roleplay servers, I already know how it's going to go. There's going to be a dwarf themed guild, and everybody's going to log in, and they're going to be like, all right, peace, and they're going to look for the next village over that's by a mountain and that has a minefield, a cave, a system with mine in it, and they're just going to be like, that's our new home, and that's where you'll find us at. And that's like one of the first things they're going to do when they get into the game. Same with the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are going to be like, hey, this is not our thing, so they're going to look to establish themselves in other places. I think the key that from a game point of view, like, Kinos needs to exist from the Combine to set things in motion to tell a narrative across the whole game scale, but on the individual player scale, it's still going to be free and open enough for you to do whatever it is you feel like you need to do.
Yeah, and remember, we know that certain classes are going to they're going to need, if you want to be like a Shadow Knight in that game, you're going to need to become evil. You can't, if you like, for a paladin to be good, you have to excel at doing good deeds. Whereas Shadow Knight, you're going to have to do the other spectrum of doing bad deeds and maybe hurting things to excel at being a Shadow, or to learn to become a Shadow Knight and want to become a Shadow Knight. So I like that, because that as a player, I may not want to become a paladin, and I may want to stab people in the face and be like, poke, poke, I'm more evil today. I'm going to become a Shadow Knight. and then have my flaming sword. Sorry. No flaming swords.
I kind of went over what I plan on doing from a roleplay point of view, but things are up in the air and they may change as I learn more about what's going on in the world at the time the game launches. Like, I don't know. I do think that, like, concepts, they've even said so as much, that concepts of good and evil, while they were very important considerations for EverQuest and EverQuest 2, it's not as important for EverQuest Next, because it's all a matter of perspective. Like, their god of war is also their god of something that's not bad.
Valor, I think.
What's that?
I think the god of war is like just war. It's not like valor. It's not like destruction. It's just war. Whatever you take from that is what you take from that. And so, like, all the deities are just kind of like across the board neutral.
Right, and and it's, yeah, I see that, like, our whole concepts of good and evil are like, they just don't really, like, I don't know, evil races are always kind of funny to me, because you have to cooperate with your neighbors at some point in time. Otherwise, you just have a whole bunch of people, like a whole society of nothing but people that are stabbing each other is not going to last long. You have to be able to have some base level of cooperation, even if it's like a very, very watch your back all the time type thing. Not because you're afraid of the dagger exactly, but because you're afraid that they might maneuver you into a position where they're better off and you're worse off type thing. I don't know. It's just...
Who made you the leader? Captain Fancy Pants.
Exactly. The captain's like, hey, follow me, we're going to go do this thing, and then the less, or we could not, and we could go this way and we could live and create dissension between the ranks type thing, or what are you thinking, Nerdlad?
I don't know, if the first guy to go, oh, you lot, and I'll be like, nope, done. hanging up my greaves that day. Walking out. I can't, the game first of all, the game needs to come out. I want it to be done, but it needs to come out. But I've played very, very many, like Witcher has a good kind of good bad sort of gameplay to it. It's very the fine line between what your choices are affect your game, because I brought The Witcher up on the show before in the past about how I'd like to kind of see that system played out where my choices weren't kind of known, but Dave Jordan gave us the perfect example last year with the guy on the road. You can choose to help him or you can choose not to help him. You choose to help him, and then you take him yeah, dude, I'll escort you to the town. He says, oh, hey, do you want, then he's like, I teach you to become a paladin. You were kind to me. I'm the one of the last remaining paladins. I'll teach you to become a paladin. Very cool. What happens if I don't? And somebody else along the way is like, dude, you let that guy get robbed, man. I'm the one of the last remaining Shadow Knights. I just saw that. Let me show you how to be evil and stuff. I want my choices to determine or help out or guide me through my journey in this game. And not only those choices, but the other things, Phantom X had asked Dave Jordan on Twitter about he's like, our rallying call is one way, not saying that all the ways, but at least one way you'll be getting classes. He said, yes, that is one way that might be able to get them. So the question is, do you really want a group of people that will hinder maybe getting? I know there he's also gone on and said if you don't get a rally, if you don't get a class that one way, may be a different way of getting that class. So it won't completely hinder, but if it came up to it and it's I can get a class right now by doing that quest, I'm gonna go do that quest if I want to unlock that class, because I like to collect things and
gotta collect them all.
I gotta collect. Pokemon is my favorite and worst game because I will collect them all.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel you, because it gives me something to do when I log into the game that isn't when I don't have anything else pressing at the moment. It's what can I do? Oh, there's those 2 or 3 classes that I don't have yet that I know that are out there. Why don't I go work on getting them? Or why don't I go work on discovering them? Whatever it is. I
think the best thing for that is that NPCs are going to be moving around, so you're not going to actually be able to pull up a wiki and be like, okay, I need to go talk to this person in this city. And I am so excited about that. I don't want to have a wiki open.
Yeah, I don't.
Exactly what I was just thinking. And the last thing I want is, I don't want to have to find a guide to figure it out. I want the instructions in the game to be clear enough and intuitive enough that I just figure it out as I go. And maybe that will encourage me to be oh, wait a minute, that's just too much. This character would never do something like that, so I'll never get this class that way. I'll have to find my own way of doing it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I hit 19,000 achievement points in WoW today.
Oh, wow.
Tamlin, we're gonna have to team up in EQ next, because I will do the crazy go to this far off village and give fish to this fisherman for 12 hours to get a class from him. I will do that.
I pulled a Tanlin. That's awesome.
I might have too. I don't remember.
So apparently, I have lost my husband to video games before they have even came out because he is a achievement point whore and a completionist. And now they're plotting finding these things together. Oh my god.
19,000.
Like, I stopped playing during Cataclysm, but I ground out the it's not spectral. What is that special tiger you can get from the one dude on the rock that has 3 quests? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What we talk about? You talk about Alliance or Horde?
She
It was
played
both.
Oh, was it?
I did play Alliance, but it was maybe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're.
Hold on. What race?
Depends on which character.
Go on.
Hold on. Pick 2 favorite classes, Alliance. 2 favorite races, Alliance.
Night Elf Druid and Human Priest. Those are my 2 mains.
Okay, for one of those you are forgiven. For
Which one?
the Night Elf, of course.
Okay.
The pointy. As long as you're playing a pointy-eared geek, it's okay.
The pretty.
I always play the elves. If it's an option, I will play an elf or a fairy, because usually fairies have pointy ears too, so I think it counts.
It's true.
But yes, Winter Spring, thank you, Winter Spring Tiger. I ground out the Winter Spring Tiger. There were 3 quests, and there was just one dude on a rock, and he was like, impossible to please. Impossible to please.
Yes! Now I know what she's talking about.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Did you get the polar
That guy's
bear
a
mount?
jerk.
Did you get the white polar bear mount?
Yeah. I have. When I stopped playing, I had the cool mounts that I had were Anixia. I got her from the raid when it was still a viable raid. I had the Raven that you had to grind that heroic to get. I had like 3 or 4 of those green proto dragons that pop from the egg.
I don't like you.
Uh-oh.
I don't like you're in a. I still to this day go and get my egg in like I got more freaking Kaleri owls and little dragons to no end. To no end. I was like, the RNG god hates me.
Do you want to know how many eggs it took me? Guess how many eggs it took me to get my first one.
4.
Lower.
1.
3.
Your first one, you popped out on 2.
Fine.
Get out.
Hold on. I have photographic evidence that I got the Swift White Hawk Strider on the first run.
Nice.
And
that one took me a while.
Midnight from Karazhan, back to back the same day.
Anyway, one of the things that I got,
what was our topic again?
Mounts that make me angry and throw things at my husband.
Pardon? Making fun
Nothing.
Yeah, completionist. No, it goes back to like that. I don't want to have to read a guide on another website on how to play the game just to be able to get through it. I want the game to be intuitive enough and the instructions clear enough that I can just play the game and understand what they're needing and what they're wanting to be able to just play the game that way instead of like and everyone's shaking their head no. Tell me how to get the mount because I want it and I want it in the fastest amount of time possible, right?
But you played Vanguard and that was absolutely not a hand-holdy, look it up on the internet kind of game.
It didn't start out that way. Oh. Well, I mean, it started out, I was discovering quests in Vanguard when I was originally playing it. Like, telling people how to accomplish quests because there was no guides. And that was back when there was, like, the global craft channel, and if you ever had, regardless of what type of question you had, be it raid mechanic or a NPC quest or whatever, you went into a global craft channel and you just asked people, and they would, give you advice. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, but it was generally pretty good. And it was like, that was my first experience in an MMO, and it really made the community stronger because we we were talking with one another all of the time instead of just reading a third-party website that was completely impartial, or not impersonal, not impartial. It was just impersonal, and it didn't create any sort of server community or even game community other than like, here's the thing that you want and here is the way to get it.
Everybody in chat's making fun of me.
Yeah.
I am not. That's a lie.
The one thing that I have not got that I really want is that when they put archaeology in the game in Cataclysm, there was the troll sword, and when the expansion first launched, it was like one of the best weapons that you could get. And I can't tell you the amount of troll projects that I have finished trying to get that damn sword. 2 expansions later, I'm still like, oh, here's an archaeology project. I'm going to finish it. Maybe I'll get my troll sword this time. Nope.
You should ask him about the time he woke me up yelling about the weapon drop in ICC.
Is that trauma? Was it trauma?
It was trauma. And and then the dungeon when you got the hill, the battered hill, you woke me up yelling about that one too.
I never got the battered hill. Dude, what do I care?
He got 3 of them. He had to take pity on me and give me one.
What?
See?
All right, let's beat him up.
What?
What? Oh, jeez!
You can have my battered hill. Oh, well, I turned it. Well, I don't even know what I did with the third one. But yeah.
It's probably irrelevant now. I'm all set.
No, it's completely irrelevant. It was irrelevant before ICC launched.
Kind of was, yeah. Okay, guys, we have like 3 minutes before.
2.
We got 2 minutes before.
All right, we only have a 5-minute video for a break. Neurotoxin suggested it. It's an alright video. It's okay. People that like archery go nuts over it, but I'm kind of like...
I love this lead-in for this video.
He doesn't like any of the things that I like. He's such an ass.
Guys,
okay.
like,
I mean, if you
it's
like archery,
alright, I guess. I mean, if you want to stick around for the video,
guys, it's alright. I mean, if you want to get up and stretch, go get a drink or something, come back. It's cool. I mean, you know, if you like bows and/or arrows.
I will say that he doesn't look really impressive, but he always hits the thing. He always hits the thing.
Exactly, right? Like,
so I'm ruining everything. I'm ruining everything.
You just described my love life. Not very
I'd say Tamlin's too. So much trouble. Camping.
How about that break?
4.
We'll be back after this video.
2.
Take a break.
1.